faces a lawsuit over loot boxes in App Store games. Tesla is reportedly adding USB-C ports and wireless phone charging to US-made Model 3 vehicles. And Microsoft is restoring custom Xbox Live gamerpics uploads. Welcome to the dynamic digital world, where this is today's 3 short stories. Let's get started. Okay, so our first story today is about Apple is currently facing a lawsuit over loot boxes in App Store games, with a potential to turn into a class action. Now, this is kind of surprising, as you normally see complaints about loot boxes or surprise mechanics, as some people will call them, leveled against the developers, people who design the games, who make the games, who put them into the games. I'm personally not a fan of them, but I also don't blame them having them. It's kind of a, you want your potluck at getting the best thing you can get. It makes sense, because you don't want people just being able to go, oh hey, I can spend £100 and then buy this. It's actually, in a way, it is another way of getting people to still spend money, but maybe not be going absolutely overboard. Obviously, it is more of an addictive thing. Definitely buying loot boxes can be more addictive. Again, that gambling addiction is a real thing, especially in kids. They are more susceptible to be addicted to these sort of things and not and forgetting that they're paying real money for it as their kids. So this lawsuit is actually blaming or accusing Apple of profiting from distribution of games with loot boxes. There's no accusation here. They do. There's no accusation about it. They do. The crux of it is that they charge a small fee, about 20%, on every in-app purchase made. As you would expect, you've got to earn money. Yes, I know they charge $100 a year for developers to be on there. They also charge a 20% on in-app purchases, as you have to go through their payment algorithm. That just makes sense and is very understandable. I don't really blame them for charging about 20%. I think sometimes it can get out of hand for the amount that they charge, especially on, say, a subscription fee. If it's a subscription fee, then I think they charge too much, but this is beside the point. The point is about accusing them of profiting from the distribution of games with loot boxes. There's not really much of an accusation there. They charge a fee on in-app purchases. It basically guarantees it. If they are taking a loss, then I could be wrong. And Apple, I'm sorry if I am wrong about that. So, but it's natural for them to be making a bit of money off of this. It's not like it's open and shut, nice and easy. They have to earn money. However, apparently the gambling element violates California law, as the company is obviously aware, as it requires creators to disclose the odds of winning, but doesn't ask for a notification that loot boxes exist. Personally, I think those are a bit contradictory. Odds of winning and loot boxes exist, but don't require. So requiring odds of winning but not a disclosure about loot boxes exist sounds a bit contradictory, because if you're notifying about the odds of winning, you are technically notifying about the fact that loot boxes exist. Again, it's a bit contradictory, but probably could be seen as definitely a thing. And I would definitely agree it should probably be on the front of the App Store buying page. Now, they also claim that companies are allowed to set their own age ratings. This is a bit of a fine line. There's a bit of a fine line around this. So, basically, I'm on the Google Play Developer Console. I'm not going to go into details about why I'm on there. That's a project I'm working on. There will be an episode on my podcast about that later on in a couple of months, hopefully within the next few months, probably a lot longer though. It's just something I'm working on in my free time, as we got a lot of it recently. But when I kind of looked into everything, I found that I have to fill in this age appropriation form. So basically a form where I have to kind of say, this is in it, this is in it, this is in it, this isn't in it. Like different things that are and aren't in it. And I also have to say whether it is, yes, aimed at kids. The problem is the designation of aimed at kids is quite vague. in my eyes. Obviously, so say it's stuff that like doesn't include violence and it caters for fun. See, I make so a small insight onto what I'm making. This is the only thing I'm gonna say: a fun puzzle game, or hopefully a fun puzzle game. That's all I'm gonna say. Personally, I don't think about saying specifically at kids. I think it could be good for adults and kids alike, especially if you just need something to kind of relax your mind. But at least on the that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I wouldn't personally have it marked as aimed at kids. I'd have it marked as kid friendly, but not aimed at kids. However, I have to fill in a form. Now that said, whether there are in-app purchases, whether I have to say whether they gore in it, whether it's got for you to think this and that. And last time I checked, I'm pretty sure that loot boxes was one of the things that you had to confirm. Now, so I think setting your own age ratings is a little bit vague. I understand you might not understand how that works. It's a process that you wouldn't really look into much if you weren't a developer. So obviously this is on Google's platform though, not Apple's. So if I'm wrong about that, then please, I'm sorry about that. I don't believe that Apple could get around the whole PEGI certification thing. It's quite an important part of game certification, and most developers that would be releasing games on there should be filling it in regardless, I think. Now, it cites numerous games that rely on loot boxes, even if it's indirect, including Mario Kart Tour, FIFA Soccer, Roblox, and Brawl Stars. I don't know any of those games. I've obviously heard of them, they're very popular games, but I don't actually play them myself, so I can't verify if that's true or not. However, the lawsuit was filed by Rebecca Taylor, whose child has allegedly fallen to the predatory tactics. I agree with that wording of predatory. They are there designed to get people hooked to make you want to do it more, especially if you don't get what you want. However, it's not guaranteed the class action status. That will depend on if other people join it and if it can be worked in as a class action. But it also does step up pressure on Apple and other digital game sellers to disclose the presence of loot boxes, and it could also call for increased calls to regulate the stores as well. So that's kind of for most of that story. Personally, I think they should be disclosing it, but that's just my opinion. So yeah, our next story is on Tesla introducing USB-C and wireless charging to US-made Model 3 vehicles. Okay, so our second story for today is coming courtesy of The Verge, and Tesla has reportedly added USB-C ports and wireless charging to its US-made Model 3 vehicles. These features are standard in all of Tesla's Model Y vehicles currently. Previously, these were only available on the Chinese-made Model 3 vehicles, however, it was always available on the Model Y. Now, this could originally be added as a aftermarket add-on, but it was not available in the build configurations. This is coming shortly after Tesla had actually lowered the prices of the Model 3, Model S, and even Model X in North America last month, as well as the prices of the Model S and Model X in China. However, China-produced Model 3 cars did not see a price reduction. The price cuts are reportedly an attempt to help boost sales, as a lot of automakers are understandably seeing a decline in demand for the vehicles in the first quarter. The Fremont factory of Tesla has been the site of controversy, and after closing on March 23rd due to Alameda County's order for shutdowns, they then started making cars again a month ago, whilst it battled with officials about whether it could resume operations. Elon Musk at one point even threatened to move operations out of California and filed a lawsuit over the stay-at-home order. I'm not sure how that all ended out. I'm assuming it's just ended out with them now being able to work again, especially as things start to progress. This is quite good. I'm glad to see that Tesla are no longer going to make you purchase a Model 3 without it. then take it back to get it added on. I think that was a bit of a waste of it, and it's a waste of people's time as well, personally. So I'm glad to see that they're just going to include it with it. I'm not sure if that's an option that you choose for wireless charging in Type-C, or if it just comes, just plop it in there when you first get it. Either way, definitely good to see it coming to the US-made models. Obviously, it's a month after the China-made models, but that's very understandable considering the shutdown that's happened recently. The Tesla cars are actually very good cars, and they're probably some of the nicest cars I've ever been in. They got very nice interiors, very nice materials. They have some amazing acceleration, that's for sure. And they're also very eco-friendly. They're all electric cars, as you probably will be aware of if you've ever heard of Tesla. Every single car they've produced has been an electric car. Actually named after Nikola Tesla, a famous inventor. Now, these cars they're slowly on their way to becoming more kind of general consumer cars. You can go out and buy it, but still, as for with any electric car, I think at this stage, I wouldn't actually recommend. I don't know, it would depend on the infrastructure around you. So for myself, I wouldn't be getting an electric car. I understand it's very easy to charge at home overnight. It's nice and easy to charge, but say I'm going on a long journey or something, maybe over the weekend or something, and I'm going to be driving around a lot. If I don't have a constant place to charge my car, then I'm going to run out of petrol. And there just, at least in the UK, aren't enough superchargers around that I've seen. And it's not like you can get them at your natural petrol station. That infrastructure change just hasn't happened. Yeah, it will probably happen fairly soon, but until it does happen, I don't feel comfortable having an electric car, and I just wouldn't recommend buying it for a while yet. Still, I'm glad to see that Tesla is slowly adding more options to older cars, even, especially with these sorts of things. It's good to see them being added. So that's kind of that story. Quite a short one, but nice one to hear. Now, our final story is Microsoft re-enabling, apparently, custom gamerpics for their profile icons. Okay, so today's final story is again from The Verge, and it is about Microsoft apparently restoring custom Xbox Live gamerpic uploads. This was previously disabled earlier this year due to the increased demand thanks to the coronavirus pandemic. Microsoft has restored custom Xbox Live gamerpics according to Windows Central, which they turned off near the end of March due to a surge in demand. Now, personally, I don't blame them for taking this off. Obviously, it puts a lot of strains on their servers to have all of these files being loaded up. Now, they did also see Windows Virtual Desktop, Teams, Mixer, and Game Pass, so all of their other 4 game cloud services, so basically all of their other cloud services, seeing a huge increased demand in March due to when most people were on lockdown. The company also said it working with game publishers to develop higher bandwidth activities like game updates and specifically during off-peak gaming hours. Now, reinstating these features like custom gamerpics may mean the strain of demand has eased for Xbox Live, with various loosening lockdowns and social distancing measures. However, Microsoft did not immediately reply to a request for comment on Sunday. Microsoft in April reported that Xbox content and services increased by 2% year over year during its third quarter, during a call with investors to discuss third quarter results. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said Xbox Game Pass had reached 10 million subscribers. That is an incredible amount to see, especially for a service that was only launched a couple of years ago. And Xbox Live nearly on 90 million monthly active users. Personally, I do quite understand why, obviously, Game Pass isn't as many as Xbox Live. A lot of people have probably purchased the games that are on Xbox Live, that are on Xbox Game Pass even, all have gotten a good few games free through Game Pass, as you get 2 to 4 games a month. So, but this is quite good, as it shows things are slowly starting to go back to normal, with the reintroducing of old features that were taken down due to too high of demand. Personally, I've never taken advantage of this feature. I did see something about it going away at one point. I didn't really think much of it at the time because I hadn't really heard that you could even do it, so I was kind of like, oh wait, that used to be a thing. And maybe people are uploading inappropriate images or stuff, and that was why they took it down. But still, if they are happy to reintroduce it, then that's obviously very good. So yeah, that's kind of our last story today. It's not a massively big story, but it's just something that you might want to know, especially if you're an Xbox gamer. This could also be something to do with the Xbox Series X. Obviously, we know they got their big reveal in July. Microsoft has kind of given PlayStation a month to focus on their event and give Xbox PlayStation spotlight, and also give the Xbox even its own spotlight. So it's definitely a good call by them to do that. I think it's going to work out well. So yeah, that is everything for today, I think. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next episode. You have been listening to the Dynamic Digital World. Stay safe.